I'd be lying if I said I wasn't impressed with the amount of effort GW is putting into these recent releases. Like Plastic Krieg, revamped Eldar models, and now the Emperor's Children as a playable army. All incredible. But forgive me if I'm a little bit more excited to see what the T-Sons get in their new combat patrol, because honestly, I'm sick of the Zangors. Jokes aside, welcome to Lore in the Box, the first official episode in my new series where I go over all the units in each value box and break down the lore and homebrew potential. I'm really excited to be covering the Emperor's Children given they were one of my favorite legions in the early Horus Heresy books, and their Fall from Grace and Destined Redemption are major plot points for the setting. If you're unfamiliar with 40k, you might be asking, who are the Emperor's Children? That probably didn't help, but I bet it did get you pretty hyped. The Emperor's Children are the 3rd Legion Astartes and trace their history back to the noble families of Europa. During the Emperor's conquest of the Sol System, he would, upon defeating a powerful foe, particularly one who had a stable power dynamic, see their sons taken into his growing war effort. Partly as a means of showing his power, partly as a deterrent against future rebellion, and oddly enough, as a way of bridging cultures and communities. Unfortunately, after nearly all of their recruits, 10,000 Astartes in total, were killed by genetic blight, only about 300 would be left. 300 Astartes who were left as little more than overqualified sergeants and emissaries. At least until they found their Primarch Fulgrim. You see, Fulgrim was meticulous in his reformation of the Legion, creating an army of hyper-skilled specialists who embodied the idea of quality over quantity. Though when the quantity of your quality is 110,000 Astartes, I think a few of your guys could afford to be cross-trained. Unfortunately, however, Fulgrim and his legion would eventually fall to the seductions of Slannesh, becoming devoted followers to the Dark Prince herself. All this to say is I think it's really important for you guys to remember, never trust a hot girl with blue hair, because she might be a follower of Slannesh, and create a concept so crazy even Ozzy Osbourne would take a step back and ask if we're going too far. This joke is funnier the more you know about the shit Ozzy did. So then, onto the box itself. Let's see what's inside and not only if it fits established lore, but what kind of homebrew we can create with it. Starting off, as with all these boxes, this comes with an incredibly high amount of troop or battle line units. 20 of them in this case. Now normally that's a dumbass idea. I mean, look at the Blood Angels in their recent release. Get wrecked, Angels. Why don't you go cry about it like you cry about your dead Primarch? I'm just kidding, Sigrinus is one of my favorite Primarchs too. The thing is, where this differs from those boxes is the fact that these 20 units aren't just new sculpts, at least from what I'm able to see looking at the sprues online. But these are also dual builds, meaning they can also be built as ranged and melee variants, so another point in their favor. And so already we're off to a great start. Not to mention, because of the dual build options of this box, you could probably use some extra bits to kit bash more models. I'm almost certain it's possible to cross the sprues from this unit onto the basic legionaries from the combat patrol of the Chaos Marines and get double the amount of units. Even more so if you're willing to be careful and clever with your sprue usage. But that raises the question, what are these units? Well, looking at the range variant first, we have the Tormentors. No, not the Terminators. Unfortunately, I would love to see those come back though. The Tormentors function similar to the standard infantry marine of the Loyalist chapters. However, where they differ is their overall ability and skill. Tormentors may seem to be just another basic troop, but in reality, each one is not only a highly devoted follower of Slannesh, but they're also masters in their respective combat style. You can almost kind of think of these guys like the aspect warriors of the Elder Eye. They find something they're already talented at and spec everything into that. They're one-trick ponies who are so good at what they do and are so good at working independently together that they can actually achieve the impossible. And to clarify the joke I'm seeing about them having sticky objectives, get your head out of the gutter, guys. They're not literally making the objectives sticky. I can't vouch for their players though. And then again, given how quick one turn can actually go by, I really hope that's not the timeline it takes for you to make the objective sticky because, sorry man, those are rookie numbers. So with that incredibly out-of-pocket joke out of the way, what does it actually mean? Simply put, it's meant to represent them capturing and fortifying the position against enemy attacks. Unlike other units that occupy objectives, these guys straight up capture and claim it. And if you're wondering, this is also the same ability I'd make a detachment rule for all the Imperial Fist units for that same reason. Alongside them, we have the second type of battle line unit available in this box. My personal favorite, the Infractors. These guys are the Assault Intercessors variant of the Emperor's Children army, but like everything else involving Chaos, they are way cooler and more badass. The Infractors are Astartes who forsake any ranged combat and recognize their talent in getting up close and wrecking shit up. Each one is armed with an Astartes dueling blade, bolt pistol, and a hell of a lot of drugs, all to make sure that they experience everything this galaxy has to offer. These guys like to fight the greatest warriors and leaders the enemy can throw at them, all while riding the greatest high you could possibly imagine. Overall, not a bad lineup, and I honestly love what we got going on so far. But what about the other units in this box? What about the Noise Marines? Well, I'm gonna be honest, I love them. I love that the Noise Marines aren't just a basic troop and that they're given the respect and prestige they deserve. Making these guys an elite, heavy support option is a great idea, showing that these aren't just your standard Marines. We already have those. They're the Infractors and the Tormentors. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Zebra Print Noise Marines of the 2000s, here's a brief refresher on the lore. But before we do that, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps motivate me to keep these videos going. So with that plug out of the way, the Noise Marines of the Emperor's Children. The Noise Marines are the Emperor's Children's variant elite unit, and believe it or not, it traces its existence back to the Horus Heresy, like everything else in the fucking game. Created when a remembrancer with blue hair and a hot body went crazy after hearing alien orgy music and decided to recreate it in the Legion's flagship. During this event, she got ripped apart by demons and the Astartes went crazy, picking up the instruments and joining in creating the music, alongside adding to the orgy of blood that was formed around them. I know I just poorly summarized someone's favorite part in the book Fulgrim, but that's basically the gist you need. But the point is, these guys heard music one time and it drove them so crazy they needed to recreate it. As a result, these Astartes unleash devastating sonic blasts that blow their enemies apart, and occasionally they might even snort up those remains. Talk about a post-death clarity, am I right? Overall, these are a great set of units, even if they learned how to turn down the music a little bit. Finally, for our list is none other than the Lord Exultant, a sadistic and brilliant battlefield general and duelist, often described as an artist more than a warrior. These Chaos Lords aim to not only craft masterful strategies and tactics, but desire nothing more than their flawless execution. Basically, these guys aren't just those people who collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards, these are the people who go to tournaments and play Trappix because they don't want their opponent to have any fun. Overall though, this tells us that these warriors aren't just mindless brutes who hold power by removing those who oppose them, but rather lead through their tactical brilliance. You could even say these guys actually earn the loyalty of the warband. Or maybe their brilliance also manifests itself in a strategic removal of those who oppose them. It's chaos after all, they are allowed to be a little bit more nuanced. This box is honestly a really great start when it comes to creating your own Emperor's Children warband and allowing you to write some crazy lore and have fun battles on the tabletop. If I was to create lore for this warband though, I'd say that our Chaos Lord, the Lord Exultant, would be a former captain from the days of the Legion, but fell off from the ideas of excessive indulgence. Capitalizing on the chaos, he rallied his closest allies and supporters and struck out on his own, using his strategic mind that had long been repressed in the Legion to full effect. Over time, however, not only did he and his allies grow in power, but they also fell to the throngs of chaos, as they became more and more excessive in their methods of war. Now this Lord Exultant not only creates these crazy in-depth plans and contingencies, but tries to make sure every last one is executed to the fullest, literally causing their campaigns to drag on way longer than they need to, just to prove that no matter what the enemy can do, he is excessively prepared for anything. That's just one idea of what you can do with the units and theme of this box, and I'd love to hear what you guys think and what you guys would write in the comments below, and what you guys think of this new series. This is overall just a prototype, and I'd love to hear what you guys think this needs. Overall though, I've got nothing else to say and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Bye!